Last month, I had the incredible honor of meeting Benjamin Ferencz. I'm not sure if you guys know who he is. He's the last surviving prosecutor at the Nuremberg trials. I was just starstruck when I met him. He is just this enormous personality. I mean, I was in awe. And I remember as I was going in line and, waiting to meet him, just being so nervous, and thinking, what am I going to say to this amazing person? And so as I was practicing my lines in my head, I was, oh, that's dumb. No, don't say that. I was just imagining, okay, this must be what the believers go through as, they're standing in line to meet, Justin Bieber, but okay. So I go up to meet him and I said something like, hello, my name is Christina Moreno. I'm from the United States of America. I just want to thank you for your service in the US military and for all that you've done to advance international law. And again, him being this amazing personality, he's, oh, the United States, how wonderful. And he said, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Washington. And he's just, oh, you're a long way from home, And it's funny because I really, at that moment, stopped to think about how ironic that statement was, because in a lot of ways, I am a long way from home. And really, statistically speaking, I'm not supposed to be here. And I'll tell you why. But before I do, there's something called the American dream. And some of you may laugh at it. Some of you may think it's a cliche, but I'm here to tell you that it's true. My story starts when on my 16th birthday, I dropped out of high school. And by the time I was 18, I had my first child, and I was on welfare. Of course, this was difficult, but if you look at the national statistics, those who drop out of high school are twice as likely to be in poverty than those who stay in high school. They also make up half of the welfare recipients nationwide. And that was true in my case. I was, on welfare. I couldn't find a job. I couldn't even find a part-time job that would support myself and my son. But the turning point came in my life when I went to meet with my caseworker. We're required, monthly to go and to meet. And I remember, having my young son on my lap, and she asked me what I wanted as a career. And I told her I had always wanted to be a lawyer, and she kind of laughed and she said, yeah, I'm sorry, that's just not going to work out for you anymore. Here are some job applications. Target and Walmart, they're hiring. They need cashiers. And I remember feeling, so embarrassed, feeling so defeated, leaving, her office. And I began to think to myself, she's right. That time had come and gone. My life is different now. And on the bus ride home, I just remember looking at my son and, looking at him and saying, he deserves more. He deserves better than this. This is not going to be our lives. And I remember this sort of the spirit rising up within me, the spirit of defiance. And I began to think, she doesn't know me. She doesn't know what I'm capable of or what I can do. My limitations are not for her to say. And it was from that moment on that I changed my life. I enrolled in a technical college. I was able to get certified in call center customer service. I was able to get a full-time job, and I enrolled in night school. All the while, having my son, and through a lot of hard work and dedication, and let me tell you, a lot of coffee, I was able to earn my associate's degree at the community college. I transferred to a university, earned my bachelor's. I attended for the master's program, and in 2013, I earned my law degree. So now today, I work in an extraordinary field. Through my work, I'm able to help people all around the world. And my son, well, he's 18 years old, and I couldn't be more proud of him. So why am I telling you this today? What is she talking about? Well, I'm here to tell you that the chance of the American dream is slowly fading for those who want to come to the United States in pursuit of freedom and safety. On March 6, 2017, the President of the United States signed a revised executive order that would ban foreign nationals from 6 Muslim-majority countries from entering the United States for 90 days. It also proposed to put a stop to the refugee resettlement program for 120 days. And it also put a cap on refugees from the 110,000 that was set by the Obama administration, which was already incredibly low, to only 50,000. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of what's going on. I mean, essentially, I think it was as recent as today. The Ninth Circuit upheld the block, and it's probably going to go before the Supreme Court. So I don't want to talk about that, but what I do want to talk about is thinking about the numbers. So it's been estimated that in the 120 days that the refugee ban or the travel ban would be in place, the 20,000 refugees could have been relocated to safety in the United States. Let's stop and think about that for a second. That's 20,000 people who are fleeing not because they want to, but because they have to. It's 20,000 lives that are affected. These people could have, if we allowed it, they could have access to clean water, food, a warm bed, things that you and I take for granted every single day. So, in thinking about this, I want to look at international law because the domestic law, I think they're doing a pretty good job, at ensuring inclusive justice. But I want to look at international law and what that's doing and what this revised order is saying. One of the many great things about international law is that it works. It was actually developed by the international community to protect those most vulnerable against any discrimination based on race, religion, or national origin. And when we look at the executive order, we see that it goes against many international treaties that are most of them sanctioned by the United States. And I won't go into all of them, but one in particular is the UN Refugee Convention. And so thinking about this, basically, I want to think about, what are we saying with this policy? What are we doing with it? And especially in the United States, think about the long-standing tradition that we've had in America to welcome refugees. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the United States is perfect and that it hasn't made mistakes, because that would be false, and you know it and I know it. One example in particular is in 1939, on the voyage of St. Louis, 908 Jewish passengers were on board, and they were turned away from the United States. Of the 908 passengers that were turned away, about 250 were known to have died in the Holocaust, and about 350 were known to have survived the war. So when you think about that, and you think about the extraordinary numbers of people that we could be helping with our policies, you start to think, what's going on, and you start to think, what direction is America going in? When you look at, for example, how this has already changed America, it's extraordinary. Some scientists are even deciding not to go to the United States, even though they're not covered under the new ban. Some of them are thinking, I don't know, what is this saying? Am I going to be welcome here because I'm seen as a foreigner? Extraordinary, right? Extraordinary how this is reshaping America. So, in closing, I guess I just want to say I don't want to talk about the political motives of opposition, the religious. Those have been said, plenty. But instead, I want to make an empathetic appeal. And I had a discussion with someone earlier today about compassion, and saying, what's compassion really? And it might not move mountains, but you know what? It'll make people pay attention when you really think about the refugees and what they've gone through. Many of them coming to a new place that's not even their own. They have extraordinary obstacles to go through, language barriers, cultural differences. This is not by choice. We're not going on holiday, right? So I want to say compassion is something that we have to think about. And besides that, we have to be able to stand up to these policies, stand up against them because they're not right, and they don't go for what we stand for, which are our democratic values. This is also on an individual level, but also as a collective society. So my challenge to you is this. My challenge to you is to take more action with your community. Be more active with refugees who are resettling in your community, whether that's making a donation, whether that's going to help with the language, something where you can be actively involved. Get to know them, because I promise you, when you meet them and you actually hear their story, you start to connect with them. And then it's only at that point we really start to think, hey, you know what? I think that these people, they deserve a chance. They deserve compassion. And it's at that moment where you start to meet them and you start to say, you know, these people might not have the same dream as me, but I bet you my American dream is similar to their dream. Thank you.